Hello everyone. Today I will be reading from A Brief History of Misogyny, the World's Oldest Prejudice by Jack Holland. Enjoy. On June 2002, in a remote area of the Punjab, a Pakistani woman named Mukhtaran Bibi was sentenced on the orders of a tribal council to be gang raped because allegedly her brother had been seen in the company of a higher caste woman. 4 men dragged her into a hut, ignoring her pleas for mercy. "They raped me for 1 hour, and afterwards I was unable to move," she told reporters. Hundreds witnessed the sentencing, but none offered to help. On May 2002, Lee Sun-uk, a defector from North Korea, testified before the House International Relations Committee in Washington, D.C. about conditions in Kaechong women's prison in North Korea, where some 80% of the prisoners are housewives. She witnessed 3 women giving birth on a cement floor. It was horrible to watch the prison doctor kicking the pregnant woman with his boots. When a baby was born, the doctor shouted, "Kill it quickly. How can a criminal in the prison expect to have a baby?" Nigeria, 2002. Amina Lawal was sentenced to death by stoning for having a child out of wedlock. She was sentenced to be buried up to her neck and rocks thrown at her head until her skull was crushed. Fayetteville, North Carolina. In Fort Bragg Army Base, over a period of just 6 weeks in the summer of 2003, 4 women died at the hands of their enraged husbands. One was stabbed more than 50 times by the man who once claimed he loved her. East Africa. In an area stretching from Egypt to Somalia, it is estimated that between 80% and 100% of all women have suffered genital mutilation. Some have fled to the United States seeking asylum. The women have argued that they are entitled to the same protection as refugees escaping political oppression, but the struggle in which they are engaged is far older than any campaign for national, political, or civil rights. I grew up in Northern Ireland, a world away from the Punjab, North Korea, and East Africa, but it was a place where the word cunt expressed the worst form of contempt one person could feel for another. If you loathed or despised a person, cunt said it all. Nothing worse than being treated like a cunt, or nothing as so stupid as a stupid cunt. Men would step in to defend a dog from being kicked around by another man, but felt no obligation to do the same when faced with brutality being inflicted on a wife by her husband. When political violence broke out in the late 1960s, misogynistic behavior expressed itself more publicly. Catholic girls who dated British soldiers were dragged into the street, bound and held down, while the man hacked and shaved off their hair before pouring hot tar over them and sprinkling them with feathers. They were then tied to a lamp post to be gaped at by the nervous onlookers, with a sign hung around their necks on which was scrawled another sexual insult: whore. Misogyny, the hatred of women, has thrived on many different levels, from the loftiest philosophical plane in the works of Greek thinkers who helped frame how Western society views the world, to the back streets of 19th century London and the highways of modern Los Angeles, where serial killers have left in their wake a trail of the tortured and mutilated corpses of women. The history of misogyny is indeed the story of a hatred unique as it is enduring, uniting Aristotle with Jack the Ripper, King Lear with James Bond. At the most private level of all, The sex act became a form of humiliation and shame. Humiliation for the woman who experienced it, and shame for the man who perpetuated it. In Belfast slang, the verb to stiff someone can mean two things: to make love to, or to kill. I just stiffed that cunt can mean I just shot him dead, or I just fucked her. Either way, the victim is now discarded, discountable, essentially dehumanized. By 15, my friends and I all knew what it was she was really trampling into the dust. This was the role that women in our society were expected to perform: to deny desire in others and crush it in themselves. It took no training and philosophy to decipher the misogyny behind the use of the word cunt. Many, besides feminists, have characterized history as, in effect, the product of a patriarchal society in which women's roles and contributions have been discounted or ignored. Throughout that history, misogyny has manifested itself in different ways at different times. Indeed, for some, what we call history is merely the tale that patriarchy wants to tell, and misogyny is its ideology, a system of beliefs and ideas, the aim of which is to explain the domination of men over women. Women were faced with a battery of philosophical, scientific, and legal arguments aimed at proving and codifying their inherent inferiority to men. Later, Christianity added a theological one, with such profound impact that its ramifications are with us today.